Yes, you can totally avoid foods. That's for food intolerances, that is 100% an option. You can just avoid the foods. That's what seems to be the most common response. I have a food intolerance, so I'm just not gonna eat it. I'm just not gonna eat that food. I'm just not gonna touch it. That is an option. To me, that sounds like a colossal pain in the butt because I don't want to constantly be managing a menu and foods and everything like that. So for me, I hate the inconvenience factor. So there's one. Two, food intolerances equal enzyme deficiency. So if you have, what we find at least is if you have an enzyme deficiency that doesn't allow you to eat certain foods right now, if you do not help whatever's causing that, then your enzyme deficiency is just going to get bigger, bigger, and bigger. So you're just going to have to add more and more foods to your food avoidance to the point where you're just not going to be able to eat anything. And we see it all the time, okay? But those are options. Let me give you my example of what that's like, okay? Years ago, I had my 5th shoulder surgery. For 2 years before my 5th shoulder surgery, my response to all my shoulder problems was just not to use my shoulder. I didn't do bench press, I didn't do shoulder exercises, I didn't do anything above no motions above my head. I didn't throw a football when I was coaching football, I'd throw it underhand. I wouldn't go out and shoot the basketball with my son in the backyard. I wouldn't do any of that stuff. The easy answer for me, and it was immediate, it worked immediately. I just didn't use my right shoulder, didn't touch it, okay? Did it work? Yes. Was it a complete hassle? For sure. And guess what? When I did need to use it, like I had to use it, I would go into the doctor, he'd give me a cortisol shot, I'd have some use of it for a couple months, and then it would slowly get worse again, but I could use it for a bit. I compare that to the concept of taking enzymes to help with everything. Do enzymes, can taking the right enzymes in the right amount at the right time help with food intolerances? For sure, no questions. But what happens when you're not taking the right amount of them at the right time and the right type? You're screwed, okay? But you can do it. You can totally do that. But once again, you're not really addressing the underlying cause. So if you go into your doctor and you say, hey, I can't eat dairy or whatever, he's going to say, and you say, why? He's going to go, oh, just avoid the food. That's what they're going to say. Okay, so I'm going to help put the pieces together so you can understand what's causing the problems so that you can hopefully understand what you need to do to help address the problems. Okay, so one, did you know that beneficial microbes in the system produce enzymes? When those beneficial microbes are not present or they are deficient, you're not going to produce the appropriate enzymes to help with digestion. It's really simple. It's just what it is. Because of that concept, we have Bacillus coagulans and S. boulardii, Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a yeast. We have those in our probiotics because they both increase enzyme production, including DAO enzyme production. Saccharomyces boulardii does. Okay, so once again, good bacteria equals enzyme production. Not enough good bacteria means enzyme deficiency, okay? Number two, this shouldn't surprise anybody. The pancreas is responsible for enzyme production. The pancreas and the gut are connected. Here's how this happens. Here's how one affects the other. When the gut is imbalanced and unhealthy, it's constantly attacking the gut barrier. When the gut barrier has been attacked and worn down, it becomes permeable. It becomes more permeable, and the bad stuff in the gut can then transport to the pancreas. When the pancreas has a lot of bad stuff, it can cause an inflammatory response, and that combination of issues can or may, which is all I'm allowed to say, may result in an enzyme deficiency or lack of enzymes being produced. Okay, so once again, bad stuff, hammering the gut lining causes increased intestinal permeability. Yes, this is also called leaky gut. When leaky gut is happening and bad microbes are moving throughout the rest of the body, and they translocate into the pancreas, you're going to have problems with enzyme deficiency. Now let's go to you histamine people. Histamine intolerances. So histamine intolerances are this. It's a DAO enzyme deficiency, right? I think that shouldn't surprise anybody. DAO enzymes are produced in the mucosal barrier of the small intestine. When it has been broken down by bad microbes, so the mucosal barrier is being constantly hammered by bad microbes, that's going to affect your DAO enzyme production. Guess what else? Those bad microbes like Klebsiella are also histamine super producers. They produce massive amounts of histamine. So not only are those bad bacteria and microbes hammering the gut lining, they are also massive producers of histamine. So you're not only not getting the DO enzymes you need to break down histamine, you're massively overproducing histamine. Okay? So based on what I just said, doesn't it make sense to build up the good bacteria in the system to produce the appropriate enzymes? Doesn't it make sense to clean up the gut completely and correctly so that you are taking the pressure off the gut barrier? And shouldn't you be taking stuff to help strengthen the gut barrier? And there's a big damn difference between a 2% supports the gut barrier and like massive improvement of the gut barrier. And I would strongly suggest if you're going to hit the gut barrier, you damn well better hit the mucosal barrier, epithelial layer. You better hit the mucus layer. You better hit the whole damn thing. Half-assing gut barrier problems equals poor results. That's the freaking quick, fast answer to that. So if you do those two things correctly, you can help with food intolerances, right? You're gonna help take the pressure off of the pancreas. You're gonna help prevent bad stuff from circulating through the whole system, okay? So what is our response to that? If you have a big range of problems, I'm talking from like severe constipation, reflux, rapid diarrhea issues, whatever, if you've got what I would deem as big problems mean, I think you know what big problems are. If you've got big problems, you need to do a big protocol because you need to or you can just do food avoidance, either way. But if you want to help with food intolerances, you want to clean the whole system up, you want to strengthen the gut barrier. For those of you that have big problems, this is not a 30-day fix-all. This is not a magic pill that fixes everything. If you're looking for that, it doesn't exist. We don't have that. If you're looking for that, I would suggest just going with the food avoidance plan, okay? For those of you that have big problems, the protocol quiz will take you to the appropriate protocol for you. What separates us from everybody else on our protocols? They're extremely thorough. We just go the whole way through the system. A lot of people are like, I don't need this. Trust me. If you have a stomach and you have a small intestine and you have a large intestine, you need to hit the gut barrier. You need to hit the barrier all the way through. You got to clean the whole damn thing up. Half-assing is not going to work, folks. So the big protocols are for people that have big issues. But for the rest of you, when you put that don't have those issues, we have just the general gut health protocols. They're more than sufficient. So if you're just like, I've just got some food intolerances, I want to clean up my gut, I think I may have some leaky gut problems, but you're not like, I've been on acid blockers for the last 20 years of my life, or I'm stuck on laxatives, or I constantly have diarrhea, or I've just got a huge grouping of problems, mast cell activation issues, autoimmune issues, everything else. For those of you that don't have big problems, you just do the general gut health protocol. In the comments below, just type in protocol quiz. We will send you information and it'll give you all options. No, you don't have to buy anything. No, you don't have to do anything. There's no pressure to do anything. We don't push anybody to do it. And to be frankly honest, if a person's in doubt and they're worried about it, I always say, don't do it. So the thing that sets us apart also is we don't not only push people, but our protocols are successful. But we do not push people to do anything, okay? So if you don't want to do it, don't do it. It's that simple. Does it work for food intolerances? It's done great for me and my family. I used to have massive food intolerances. I would get severely bloated. I had to do the big approach because my immune system was shot. I had reflux. I had all kinds of issues. Do I have those issues anymore? Nope, I don't. The protocols work. The process works. Remember, if you don't have big issues, you don't need to have the big protocols. But for those of you that have big issues, go big, or you're going to be on food avoidance forever. Hope this helps. Thanks. Bye.